Good morning! I want to start the next Fairyloot vlog because I think I'm going to start the book today. I just finished an audiobook and I have the audio for this first one. Let me show you. So this is the one that I think I'm going to start today. It's The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. I feel like I've heard of this author before, but I don't remember for sure. It says she's from Atlanta. And this is the first in a trilogy. So we'll see. This is really dusty. Shows how long I've had it. This says it's from Fairyloot and it came out in 2023. So I've had it for a couple of years. I don't know that the trilogy is like complete. It's got like a map inside of it. And this edition's pretty, I don't think. Doesn't have anything on the inside of the dust jacket. And pages are cute. I'm not a huge fan of this art style. It's nothing against the artist. It's just not my cup of tea. But I can read you the synopsis really quick because I actually have no idea what this book is about. I know nothing about it, even though I've had it on my shelf for 2 years. It says, has she been sent to save the realm or destroy it? As spy master to the queen, Aya's blood oath ensures she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the queen's enforcer and Aya's bitter rival. When rumors of dark magic rise in a nearby kingdom, both are sent to investigate. But when Aya's power acts beyond her gods given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when her relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts, neither knows the danger that will follow. So it sounds like it's definitely going to be a romantasy. This is the other end paper. And then the edges. I like the edges a lot. I think this was towards the beginning of like the Sprudges craze. So they're not like totally fancy, but they're still cute. I don't really know what to expect with this one, but I have Vilest Things and I think Shanghai Immortal left after this. Hang on, let me go check. Yes, those are the last two that I have. And they're both pretty short. I am excited for Vilest Things. And Shanghai Immortal, I also know nothing about. So I don't really know how this episode is going to go. The first episode went a lot better than expected. I'm sure you've already seen that because I posted that video yesterday, I think. Yeah, that's all I've got right now. You might see me tonight. It will more than likely be tomorrow though, because I have to work pretty late. So I don't know if I will have a ton of time to come back and report to you. But yeah, that's the plan. Howdy, I'm back from work. I don't know exactly where I got in this today. I think I'm close to like halfway. Okay, so I think I'm close to like halfway. And I actually like went to the effort of making notes and stuff about what I was reading so I could give you a better review. And then I left them at the office. So I guess you're just gonna get my same crappy review, synopses, whatever, because I left my notes. Hopefully I'll remember to bring them home for the second half of the book review, but I don't know. So Aya, our main character, she is a spy master to the queen, and she is working with Will. Does it tell me what Will is in the synopsis? He is the queen's enforcer and her rival. She also has a friend named Tova, who is like the general of the queen's army, and as we go on into the book, someone's trying to frame her, and they're trying to figure out who. And Aya and Will hate each other, like I just said, but they have to work together. And part of Aya's power, they both have powers, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't totally understand what they are, but they both have them. I know Will's lets him, I don't know if he can read minds or if he can just like feel vibes and tell when people are lying. So he is like the interrogator for the queen. He does all of the interrogations as an interrogator would do. Anyways, the first part of the book focuses on Aya and Will and them trying to figure out who is selling arms to these rebels that they've been watching, and they find out that it's the southern part of their continent. A portion of the continent that hasn't, I don't remember exactly what they said. It's like they're being shunned, but not officially shunned. They didn't really explain that well, if I'm being honest, and maybe I'll learn more as it goes on. But it sounds like they're the southernmost part of the continent, and they've been shunned, and they have no economic prospects because of it. They find out that this part of the continent is dealing weapons to rebels in their city. And one thing leads to another. Tova ends up getting framed, and Aya tries to vouch for her, like tries to save her. And when she does this, the queen and the rest of her court realize that she is... I don't remember what the word is. It doesn't say what they call her, but basically she's been like marked by the goddess. So after she helps Tova, or accidentally kills people for Tova is a better way to describe that, she loses her oath mark, which is supposed to be impossible. Only the goddess can remove them. So they take that to mean that she is blessed by the goddess, and she will be a weapon in a war that's about to happen once it starts. I don't know what I'm saying. She's going to be used as a weapon. So she gets sent to, I don't know where, I don't know if they said the name of it, but she gets sent with Will to a different part of the country, and they have to try and convince the king of this part of the country to aid their war efforts, essentially. And at this point, we know that she and Will hate each other, but Will now has to be like her captor, because even though she's goddess blessed, she is still like on thin ice with the country, the queen, because she helped Tova. And they are holding Tova hostage, so Aya kind of has to do whatever they want her to. I think that's where I left off. I think some more stuff has happened since that exact part. Like, they finally arrived at this king's land and have been talking to the king and his family, like his heirs. And I don't think I've learned much else. So, that is my update. So far, it's giving me like solid 3-star vibes. I don't love it. Oh, wait, there was one more thing. So Aya is having nightmares about killing Will. And it appears that this nightmare is like based on something that she did in her past. So I think there was a point in their training where Will had made her so upset that she lost control of her power, and he could have died if she hadn't reined it back in once she realized what was happening. And she's having nightmares about that where he actually dies. And she thinks it means something, but we have not gotten to what the dream means yet. So, yeah. Like I said, this is feeling like a 3-star. We'll see what happens in the last half. Yeah, that is the update. I am actually not going to read this tonight, I don't think. I have like an hour and a half left in an arc that I've been working on for so long, and I want to finish it. So I am going to work on finishing that tonight, I think. Unless I decide I want to play video games or something, then I will probably just listen to this still. But either way, I will likely be back with an update for you tomorrow. It'll depend on how late book club goes, because it starts at 6:30 and it's supposed to go to 7:30, but sometimes I don't get home till almost 10. So we'll see how that goes. I loved the book that I read for it. That one was Out on a Limb by Helena Bonham Young, and I think that is my perfect romance. There was one small thing that really bothered me, but they addressed it. So at one point, this is going to turn into just a general vlog, I guess, because I'm not talking about Fairyloot anymore. But at one point, the male main character and the female main character end up moving in together, and a couple weeks in, he somehow gets on the topic of the fact that he can hear her using her vibrator in her room, and he would appreciate it if she would keep it down, because this is at a point where she's telling him that, like, she doesn't want to be more than just friends, because there's also a pregnancy trope, an unplanned pregnancy trope in this book. I should probably start with that. So this woman is pregnant, she's got all these hormones, she is obviously still in love with this man, but doesn't want to do that because she's afraid, based on her past relationship experience, that he will end up leaving her and leaving the child, and then she doesn't. It's one thing for him to leave her, but then for him to leave the child, she really doesn't want that to happen. So she pretty much tells him that they need to be just friends. And he's like, okay, we can be just friends, but only if you keep it down. And later on, they are sleeping together, and they're being very loud based on this description. And his dad is staying with them. And the whole time, all I could think was, if you could hear her doing that by herself, what makes you think he can't hear the both of you doing this? And then later on, the female main character, like, leaves to get ready, and he goes to see if his dad is awake. And she's like, I guess he'll have to explain that. It's his house, not mine. So they do address it. It never goes further than that, though. And I don't know, I thought it would be funny if the dad made a comment somewhere about how loud they were, because he kept hinting that they should get together, because they're not together, they're just friends. Okay, they're just friends. But I was a little iffy on this book because of the unplanned pregnancy trope. I don't think before now I've ever read a book with it in it, and it just doesn't sound appealing to me. So I've kind of avoided books with that trope, but now that I had such a good time with this one, I honestly might try more. I don't know. I don't think any of the romance on my shelves right now has that trope, so it might be a little bit before I try more, but I am now open to receiving this trope. Anyways, I haven't eaten dinner yet, and it is now 6:50. Yeah, it's almost 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna go. And I will probably see you tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Wednesday. No, I won't be home for sure until 10 on Wednesday, so Thursday, if not tomorrow. Good night. Hello and good evening. I am coming at you today with a kind of review for The Curse of Saints. I finished listening to this a couple of days ago, and if I can be completely honest with you, I don't remember much. The book wasn't bad. Like, I don't remember having any issues with it, but it also wasn't good enough for me to, like, stow it away in my brain, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I liked it, but I don't remember anything, really. For the next couple of minutes, these might be spoilers. I can't really remember, but this is all that I do remember from the last half of the book. At some point, the king becomes their enemy, the king that they are trying to convince that they need his assistance during this war. He becomes their enemy, and then they're accusing Aya and the guy she's with, whose name I can no longer remember. They're accusing the two of them of espionage, I think. But then they somehow find out, the king has somehow found out about her power, because she is a I don't actually remember what they're calling her, but she is like blessed by a saint, or she is a saint, and her power is therefore more than other people who have powers. And at some point along the way, we found out that the prince also has powers, and that's technically illegal because the king is not allowed to be whatever they call it, people with powers. I can't remember all of the names, but the king is not allowed to be that because that would be, I guess, unfair. Unfair doesn't seem like the right word, but that's the only one that's coming to me right now. But they don't let the king be somebody with powers, essentially. And so he is currently hiding his powers because it has also been like centuries since the royal name has, or the royal powers have been passed to a new family, and they are not willing to give it up. Like, they don't want to see what's going to happen if they give up their claim to the throne, I guess. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. And so they think that the prince is their friend and that his sister is also their friend. But his sister's partner, which, by the way, there is queer representation in this, there is a lesbian couple, or at least a same-sex couple. They're both women. And they kidnap her partner and make it look like it's not them, and they make it look like it's some other like rebel group in the city, and they're using her as like bait and using her and some other tactics to make the prince and his sister, who I guess is a princess. I don't know if they ever called her princess, but they are siblings. They use those to force these two to basically do what they want and betray. We'll get to that in a second. They betray, at least the prince betrays Aya and whoever that man is, the man that's her enemy, and they betray them. Oh, and somewhere along the way, we start getting like points of view from the man, and it turns out that he has been in love with Aya ever since he met her, but he, like, for some reason doesn't think that he deserves her or something. I don't know. I didn't really follow that part of the storyline, and even if I did, I don't remember most of it. But anyways, they get betrayed. The king knows that she is blessed, and he wants her power for himself, essentially. And one thing leads to another, and the king dies. And that's about the... No, there's more. The two of them, Aya and the man, get together. They get together in a prison cell. I do remember that for sure. That is the first place that they kiss and do other things. And to me, that scene felt not realistic. I don't know. The way it was pushed was that this is like their only chance. They might die tomorrow, so they need to do it right now, or they will never get the chance again. Something like that. But yeah, those are the cliff notes of what happened and all that I remember about the book. Needless to say, I'm not keeping it. I think I settled on a 3-star when I finished it, when I had it fresh in my brain, and I think that's fair. I don't think I would give it anything higher than a 3-star, but I could also see myself giving it lower. I don't think that the writing was bad. I don't think it's a terrible plotline. I just didn't find anything super memorable about it. That's literally the only issue I had. But I will not be keeping it. I have started the next book I'm going to read for this, and that is Vilest Things by Chloe Gong. I don't think I'm going to tell you too much about this one because it is the second book in the series, but I'm maybe like 30% of the way in, and we start where the last one left off. And I can't tell you how the last one left off because it leaves off on a cliffhanger, but we are seeing those characters and how that situation at the end of last book is playing out. And I'm liking it. I'm not enjoying it as much as I enjoyed Immortal Longings, but we'll see. If I'm being honest, Immortal Longings was kind of a surprise for me when I started reading it, because at that point I had already read These Violent Delights and Our Violent Ends, and I might have read Foul Lady Fortune before I read Immortal Longings. I can't remember for sure. I'd have to go back and look at my reading log if it's in Storygraph. It might have been too long ago to be in Storygraph, but I'm enjoying it. I am hoping to finish it tomorrow, actually, because I think my audiobook returns, and I am still not having the best luck reading physically. I just started this as my physical read, The Bridge Kingdom. I'm not holding that very well. And it is pulling me in, so we'll see if I can, like, reset whatever's going on in my brain so that I can actually read a physical book instead of only listening. And that's not to say that audiobooks are bad, or like if you listen exclusively to books instead of reading physically that you're not a reader. I just am unhappy with the amount of time that I'm giving to audiobooks when I know that my mental health would probably be a little bit better if I just sat down and read a physical book and forced myself to concentrate for a little bit, because right now my concentration is terrible. So if I lose my audiobook before I finish Violet's Themes, I will sit down and finish reading the rest of it physically. And then after that, I just have Shanghai Immortal. And I think I just got that from the library again, so I have like 2 weeks. I have like 2 weeks to read that. But what other updates do I have? An event that I did a lot of the planning for happened last night, and it went really well. Today I got to leave at noon from my job, and then we went to the gym. I was supposed to do 2 strength training workouts this week, according to my nutritionist, and I managed to do 3. Although the one that I did today, I think really killed my legs. I had been doing the workouts that were on my nutritionist app, and they're fine. Like, they're a good starting point, I think, but there isn't a ton of variety. And most of the workouts do things or use equipment that I really don't want to do. Like, some of them have us like putting our heels on an exercise ball and like moving them in and out as a core exercise, and I wouldn't mind doing that at home, but I don't want to do that at the gym. I don't want to be perceived doing that. And then other things, like most of the workouts, I end up skipping 2 or 3 of the exercises and like having to add in my own exercises. So today I decided to try out Whitney Simmons's Alive app, I think is what it's called. They have a 7-day free trial, so I'm going to use it for the next week, and maybe I'll probably cancel it after the trial because I only have a week between then and my surgery, and I don't want to pay for a whole month when I won't be able to use it for 3/4 of it. So I am going to do the free trial. The workout I did today was really good. I didn't end up finishing it, honestly. I was supposed to do 3 sets of all the exercises, and there were a lot of them that I only did 2, and some of them I started with weights and then I had to put the weights down because I couldn't finish even like 8 reps, and most of them wanted 10, 15, or 20 reps depending on the exercise. So I had to take the weight off a lot of them and skip the last set for a lot of it, but I got a good workout in, I think. My legs definitely feel it. I did a warm-up and a cool down in the app too, so they have those like built in to the workout, and they are like specific to the rest of the workout. So like today's warm-up focused on my legs because I only did leg exercises, and then they have other ones like upper body. They have push days, pull days. I can't remember all of the different categories, but there's like upper body, lower body, push, pull, core. They have a Pilates section, like a floor and mat Pilates, not a reformer Pilates class, but I've been doing those videos on YouTube for a while, so it was nice to have that like in the app too. I'll probably still do the videos because I like having it on a big screen in front of me, but I'll check out their Pilates workouts. And then they have all of the warm-ups and all of the cool downs on their own, so you can pick which one you want if you don't want whichever one comes with the workout you're doing. And I just feel like it's really well set up. So throughout the workout, you can also put in the weight and how many reps you actually did. And I think that's really helpful because they also have like the timer and everything. So if you're doing timed exercises or you're like timing your rest, it does that for you. And within the app, you can also, like I said, put in the weight and the amount of reps that you did. And I really liked that because I have a lot of trouble writing it down. And if I have to like keep switching apps to write down what I did and then go back to see what I'm supposed to do next, I am going to get burnt out. And that was part of what I was feeling with the other app I had been using. I was getting really burnt out trying to figure out what I was actually going to do from the workout, which workout had the most exercises that I could do that day, and all of that. Because like on the Alive app, all of the workouts I looked at use the equipment that I have at the gym and that I don't mind using in front of people. And it had it split up so that, like in the title, it'll tell you if it's dumbbell only or if it's a landmine. If you don't know what a landmine is, that's a barbell with 1 plate on it, I think. That's at least what it looked like in the photos and the videos for that workout. Where you can do barbells or you can do a mixture, you can do bands. It had all of that information. And so I'm really excited to use it. I'm kind of sad I just now found it. I knew it existed before this, but I never really thought about it. Probably because Whitney hasn't posted for like 3 months now because she's been pregnant and it apparently has been brutal. But yeah, I am excited to use it. I'm excited to do my workouts for the next week or 2. And I think that's it. I think that's all the updates I have. I have been talking for 20 minutes and now my mouth is dry and I'm tired and it's almost bedtime. So I'm gonna go. and I will report back on my probably final feelings for Violet's Things. So. Hello, I'm here to tell you about Violet's Things. I just finished it today. I think the last time I updated you was maybe a week ago, if I'm being completely honest. I have not had a ton of time to read or listen, and I just now finished that today. And I was going to start Shanghai Immortal, but I needed to... That was a bad angle. Sorry about that. But I need to get another library book done before it returns because I've gotten it checked out 2 or 3 times now, and I kind of need to finish it. But I will be starting Shanghai Immortal next, probably this weekend. I liked Violet's Things. Once again, I can't tell you too much about it because it is the second in a series. However, I will tell you that this one did not hold my attention as well. It was fun. I enjoyed listening to it. But I definitely should have done a reread or at least a recap of the first one because I was kind of lost for the first 50% of the book, and that's on me, not on the book. I am going to be keeping it. I did find out today that there's a third one coming out, apparently. I did not know that. I thought this was just going to be a duology, and it's not. So I'm going to hold on to this one and probably do a reread before the last one comes out. Howdy. We are finishing this vlog. I am about halfway through this book, and I am surprisingly really enjoying it. I don't really know what I expected going into it, but what I'm getting is not it. This one is following it says she's half vampire, half fox spirit, and all trouble. Her name is Lady Jing, and she has been serving the King of Hell for about 90 years. And we are in Immortal Shanghai, which I think is obvious from the title. However, there is Mortal Shanghai, and this woman is protecting a mortal who is there to set up the first central bank of hell. And while he's there, she's his bodyguard, because the people in Immortal Shanghai, I guess, live off of blood and tend to kill any mortals that happen to be in their vicinity. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I would relate this kind of to Masters of Death, I think, where Death or Hades or some equivalent of that is present, and we are following people who are working for him. It kind of sounds like this woman's mom sold her off to the King of Hell while she was a child. But she has some anger issues, and the book starts out with her, like, getting into a fight with someone that's, like, higher up in the court, and she is, like, forced to apologize to her and become humiliated and be humiliated by the King of Hell. He has the power to compel people and, like, force them to do what he wants them to do if they don't do it of their own free will. It kind of seems like the courtiers are plotting to steal something from the king, and she takes this as an opportunity. The woman that she fought is one of these courtiers, and she takes this as an opportunity to finally expose them and show the King of Hell that she doesn't just want to fight people, doesn't just dislike people, but there's actually, like, a reason that she doesn't like them. Yeah, I am liking this. I don't know if I like it enough to keep it yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards it. I really liked the humor in the half that I've read. But yeah, I am gonna go and continue listening to this, and I will report back. Probably at the end, unless something changes.